Good evening and welcome to this Nacogdoches Independent School District Board of Trustees. Let the record show that a quorum of the board members is present, and notice of this meeting has been legally posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Board members Susan Rushing and Zig Martinez will be unable to attend the meeting tonight. Please remember that items do not have to be taken in the order they're shown on the agenda, and I'll ask you to join us in turning your cell phones off or to some type of silent mode. And at this time, I'll ask Reverend, if he'll lead us in open prayer.
Shall we pray? Father, we are so thankful for this day and for the many and multiple blessings that we presently enjoy. And now as we come to represent the students of this district, we pray that our thoughts and our actions and our decisions will give you glory and honor. And it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now I'll call on Miss Nancy Chapa, the principal at Fredonia Elementary School, to introduce the students and lead us tonight in our pledges.
Good evening, Dr. Hayes, President Davis, distinguished members, board members, and Nacogdoches community. My name is Natalie Waters. I'm a third grade math teacher at Fredonia Elementary and also the student council sponsor. With me is Mr. Jackson. He's the sponsor of the Lot Crew, Leaders of Tomorrow. Under our leadership of Ms. Chapa, we are very thankful for the opportunity to lead the pledges this evening. This is Ms. Mariah Jenkins, our president. She's going to lead us in the pledges. Please rise. Please be seated while our star scholars do our Fredonia Scholar Pledge.
Thank you very much. Now time for the recognition portion of the board meeting. And this is an opportunity for us to recognize our students, staff, volunteers, and community partners. Tonight, we'd like to begin with community recognition. And with that, I'll call on Ms. Patty.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, and Dr. Hayes. Gardens are magical, fun, and full of surprises. Gardens are a great way for children and adults to learn patience. And Resilient Nacogdoches is leading the way with the project at TJR Gardens. They are reviving these gardens with the help of First United Methodist Church, Austin Heights Baptist Church Earth Care Ministry, Golden Gardens, SFA Sustainability Club, and Nacogdoches ISD Campus Gardens Committee, just to name a few. Jim and Carrie Lemon held their first planting today at TJR's garden. They planted onions, potatoes, and lettuce. Their plan is to integrate the gardens into the classroom as an enrichment program. I'm asking tonight that the board commend these organizations and Mr. and Mrs. Lemons for their contributions to TJR and our district. Is Mr. Lemons here? Mr. Lemons is not able to be here tonight, so I'll go on. Another great project in the community is the tree planting partnership. Hannah Angel and Green Forest Work is partnering with Arthur Temple College of Forestry and Agriculture at SFA, the garden capital of Texas, and Nacogdoches ISD to plant 150 tree seedlings in Nacogdoches with the help of SFA students and members of the community. The 2 to 3 year old trees were purchased locally by Green Forest Works from the Keep Nacogdoches Beautiful nursery located at the landfill. The trees will be planted at 3 Nacogdoches ISD properties: the Technical Training Center, the Agricultural Science Center, and the high school. The plantings will start on February the 26th at the Ag Center. The planting at the TTC will also be the same day, and they will have help from ETech. ETech has volunteered to assist with the planting at TTC and will work alongside the students from the Malcolm Rector Technical High School who've also volunteered to plant trees and dig holes. The trees will be planted about 8 feet apart and will have a weed map placed around them for protection from the lawnmowers. I'm asking again tonight that the board recognize and commend these organizations for their contribution to beautify our district. Mrs. Angel, unfortunately, Mrs. Angel is not here either, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Miller, and thank the organizations. We appreciate their assistance. Next, we're going to have the National Education Association Read Across America Day recognition. For that, I'll call on Ms. Amber Mims.
Sorry, I have something to pull out for y'all. Good evening, President Davis, board members, and Dr. Hayes. I am here to recognize the librarians for their efforts in helping our children in the school district. Nacogdoches ISD will be celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday with the National Education Association's annual Read Across America Day on March 2nd, 2016. Across the country, thousands of schools, libraries, and community centers will celebrate Dr. Seuss's 112th birthday on March 2nd. Nacogdoches ISD elementary students will be celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday by dressing wacky the week of February 29th through March 4th. This week-long event has been made possible thanks to the hard work and dedication of our campus and local librarians. This event promotes reading and adult involvement in the education of our community students. Today we are honored to have with us the Mayor of Nacogdoches, Roger Van Horn, the Mayor and the Superintendent of Nacogdoches ISD, Dr. Fred Hayes, and the Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees President, Tom Davis, will be signing the National Education Association's Read Across America proclamation in support of our students' future academic success. Yes, sir. There are 3 Sharpies in the little slide thing, I believe. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Mims, and I want to also say thank you to our librarians. What a wonderful group of librarians we have in Nacogdoches ISD. And as we begin to sign this, I'll read the proclamation here in just a minute, but I would like to, starting with Ms. Schultz, come over and just move over and speak your name and where you are the librarian.
I'm Sonia Schultz, and I am the librarian at Nacogdoches High School.
Angie Allen, and I'm the librarian at my husband's middle school.
Michelle Clark, librarian at TJR.
James Sanders, proud member of Brooks Queen Child Alabama.
Lizzie
we are so proud of our librarians. They do such a wonderful job. If you have children on our campuses, you know what a good job these people do. Reading is not just a focus of Nacogdoches ISD. It's really been a focus of the community of Nacogdoches. We have many events that go on in their public libraries, and hopefully you're taking advantage of our public libraries here on North Street. But also during the summer, the Nacogdoches Rotary Club participates in and actually sponsors a reading library, a mobile library that goes around to various parks in our community and distributes books. So reading, while it is extremely important in Nacogdoches ISD, and we focus on reading a great deal, it's important to the community of Nacogdoches. And Roger Van Horn, Mayor Van Horn, we appreciate the community of Nacogdoches, your leadership for that community, as well as for everyone else in our Rotary and those things, those individual group organizations that do so. So thank you very much. I don't have much of a voice, but Mayor Van Horn has less of a voice than I do. So I don't know if you wanted to say a word or two, Mayor, or not.
Just congratulate you and all the parents and all the teachers that are helping our kids' future. It's a good thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for what you do. So I will read the Read Across America proclamation at this time. Whereas the citizens of Nacogdoches and Nacogdoches ISD faculty and staff members stand firmly committed to promoting reading as the catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy. And whereas the citizens of Nacogdoches have provided significant leadership and support in the areas of community involvement in the education of our youth, grounded in the principle that educational investment is key to the community's well-being and long-term quality of life, and whereas Read Across America, a national celebration of reading on March the 2nd, 2016, a national celebration of Dr. Seuss's 112th birthday on March the 2nd, 2016, promotes reading, and this is for everyone in the room, or at least those of us who are of a certain age, and adult involvement in the education of our community's students. Therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor of Nacogdoches, Roger Van Horn, the Superintendent of Nacogdoches ISD, Fred Hayes, and the Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees President Tom Davis, as well as all of our board members, call on the citizens of Nacogdoches to assure that every child is in a safe place, reading together with a caring adult on March the 2nd, 2016. Take that out, write that on your calendar. And be it further resolved that this body enthusiastically endorses Read Across America and recommits our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world.
There is also Dr. Seuss bookmarks available on your way out, provided by BQJ, and it's to encourage you to go ahead and remind you to read on Dr. Seuss's birthday to your children.
Can we get a picture with all three with that before you call them?
The next is student recognition for our 2015-2016 DAR Junior American Citizens Contest winners. And for that, I'll call on Miss Cindy McShirley.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, Dr. Hayes. My name is Cindy McShirley, and I teach at Nettie Marshall. And we're excited to bring these kids tonight to talk to you about the DAR competition that we just competed in that stands for Daughters of the American Revolution. And we took part in this contest in the fall, and here we had some great results this year. And what I'm going to do is, well, first I want to tell you the way every year the DAR ladies, our group, they have a theme, and the theme this year was Celebrate America. So first we worked with really our whole school. We worked on the history of America, just a brief, overview of that. And then from there, we looked at you celebrate good things. So we looked at the good things about America and what makes America unique. And from there, they would choose a product, whether it be a stamp design, a short story, a poem, a poster, a photo essay. And here were the results. And one more thing. For every grade level, there's only one winner for the whole county. So that kind of makes it more special. All right, we're going to start with poetry. For the poetry category, we had the winner for first grade. First grade, Saren Gonzalez. Would you step forward? She won for the poem for first grade. And then Selah Pa, she won for the poetry for third grade. Step forward. Okay, then the next category I'm going to talk about is the posters, and we won for the first, third, fourth, and fifth for that. And for first grade, Macy Daughtry, she wasn't able to come. Oh, she's here, just in time. Way to go. Okay, that's Macy, and her poster won for first grade. And then Judith Martinez, her poster won for third grade. And then Tanaya Washington, she has since moved away, but she won for fourth grade. And then Elizabeth Curtis, who's not here tonight, she won for fifth grade. So that was for our poster category. And then we're moving to the stamp design. And we had winners for third grade and fifth grade in this category. And the third grade is Amy Zavala, her stamp won. And then fifth grade, Ishmael Olmedo, and he was not able to be here tonight. Then we had a photo essay. We had two winners in the photo essay category, and one was David Brown, he won for third grade, and Molly Harwell, she won for fifth grade, and she was not able to be here tonight. Another category is the short story. We had a first grade winner and a fifth grade winner. The first grade winner is Adriana Gonzalez, and she was not able to be here tonight. And Shadiman Woodson for fifth grade, her short story won. We had our third graders won for banner. The banner, that's where you have a group of 3 or more students together to make a banner. And they have a winner across the county for each grade, one winner, and our third graders won. And that was Judith Martinez, David Brown, and Chelsea Mejia. Okay, so we had a total of 14 winners. Anyway, we're just very proud of them. Thank you.
If the parents want to take a picture.
I don't have to. The parents, please stand and be recognized as well. Thank you. And now from our Regay campus, the students' recognition, and Ms. Lauren McDermott.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, and Dr. Hayes. I am Laura McDermott. I'm a third grade teacher at Regay. I'm also the gifted and talented coordinator. And we had a lot of winners as well. I'm very proud of these children in the same contest, the Daughters of the American Revolution contest. In the poem category, we had Ian Ayers, who's not with us tonight. He won for second grade poem. And we also had Coda Glenn win for stamp design. He is not here with us tonight. But for photo essay, I had Wyatt Moody win for first grade photo essay. Wave, there we go. I also had Wyatt Moody win for first grade stamp design. Him again. Okay, and then I had Taylor Hart win for third grade short story, and Manu Michael win for fourth grade short story. So we're very proud of our babies.
Take some pictures. And parents, would you stand up, please, and be recognized as well? Thank you. And next, we have Model United Nations competition from SFA, and on that, I'll call Mr. Mulliken.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, Dr. Hayes. On January 21st and 22nd, 45 delegates from McMichael Middle School participated in the Region 7 Model United Nations Middle School competition at SFA. 22 countries were competing, and McMichael represented 8 of those countries, including China, Jordan, Kuwait, Niger, Portugal, Russia, Sweden, and Switzerland. Our sponsors at this event were Sue Makatura, Barbara Maston, and Andy Howe. McMichael swept the competition by receiving placard trophies, which these guys are all holding up here, and we had to get Mr. Mahan to come up here and help us because we ran out of hands. For first and second, third place for maps, first, second, third place in collages, first, second, and third place in digital presentation, first, second, third place in resolution writing, and first and third place in impromptu resolution writing, for a total of 16 awards. McMichael also received the Best Novice Delegation. You'll hold that one up, Charlie? That's that trophy. And in addition, let's see, we also had the Best Overall Delegation. Jimmy, you want to hold that one up? In addition to our delegates, each one, we had 3 first-place medallions, and those are the ones like right over here that Cooper's has on, Andrew has on. 3 second-place medallions and 5 third-place individual medallions from their committees for an additional 11 personal awards. We had, like I said, 45 delegates, and of the 45 delegates, I believe 40 of them were either on a team that won one of the placards, won a trophy, won the placard, or won an individual medallion. And what we've done is just brings the head of the best overall delegates, the novice delegates, and then our gold medal winners. But the list is like right here, pretty long. So let me go ahead and go with our individual gold medallions. Andrew Nicholas, right here for UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, gold medal. Cooper Henson in the plaid. They can't wave, their hands are full. UNEP, which is United Nations Environmental Program. Julia Bray, who could not be with us, World Health Organization. We have our best novice delegation, which is Charlie Cordova, is right here. He was our head delegate. Also, a member of that team was Jose Garcia, Monrith Hing, Soledad Ortiz, Michelle Resendez. The big trophy right here is our best overall delegation. Jimmy Soto's holding it. He is our head delegate. Jacob Cuevas, there you go. Hunter Hagen, Kenny Ohm, and Andrew Coe was also a member. These guys were also members of our Russian delegation. Thank you, Ms. McAtour and Ms. Howe and students. Also, parents of any of our delegates, if you'd stand up and be recognized as well. Look at them pop it up. McMichael Middle School is extremely proud of all the delegates who attended, and especially those who were so successful at this regional competition. Thank you.
Could y'all bunch in? Could y'all bunch in here so we can get a good picture of you? It's good to have
Mr. Mulliken, y'all may have to come stand behind.
Ms. McAtory always does a great job with this group, and we appreciate you so much for the work you do with our young people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And next, from the Dallas Marathon, I'll call on Coach Ryan O'Neill.
Good evening. Thank you guys for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today. My name is Ryan O'Neill. I'm a cross-country coach at the high school. I'm here to honor J.D. Bryant. He's a junior at the high school and was a cross-country runner for us this past year, Letterman. He competed in the Dallas Marathon this past December 13th. He completed a 26.2-mile course in 4 hours and 2 minutes and held a pace of 9 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
We're extremely proud of him. Everyone on the team, his family. He showed up after the season, which is pretty wild because we get up, 6 o'clock. We're there every morning. He showed up after the season and got in his own workouts, putting in 30 to 40 miles each week to prepare, and we're all very proud of him.
I try to run a little bit. Come on up here, Coach, and we just get the picture. I try to run a little bit, but it's certainly not at that speed. But it's impressive when somebody completes a marathon. Only 541,000 people in the United States completed a marathon last year. Let me tell you that sounds like a lot of people, but that's less than 0.2% of our population that completed a marathon last year. And only 17,000 people 18 years and younger did. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. JD's parents are here. Thank y'all. Thank you very much. And next, the Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-American Football Team recognition. For that, I'll call on Coach Reyes.
Thank you, Board President Davis, Board, Dr. Hayes. We had 2 young men this year that received an outstanding honor. Both of them were named Academic All-State and for football. One of the young men, Kyle Consard's unable to be here tonight due to a family emergency. He received an honorable mention honor, Academic All-State. We're real proud for him. In order to receive this honor, you have to have a 92 GPA or higher, and you have to be in good standing with your school, and also you've got to be of strong character. And our other young man that received the award is Jace Green, and Jace received a second team All-State, All-Academic All-State, which is a tremendous honor, and we're real proud of him and proud of his accomplishments at the high school. And you can see with his little A&M shirt on, he's looking forward to going to A&M next year. Being a senior, he did a great job for us on the football team, and we're real proud of his achievement. I know his parents are here. It's odd, I taught both of his parents, so maybe that had something to do with him getting it eventually. And then his grandparents are here, and if they'd stand up, let's recognize them. And then Brandon Jones is not able to be here tonight because he's running track, but wanted to mention him because we just recently, first of all, he was named All-American, first team All-American. He's also named the Defensive Player of the Year for the state of Texas. And beyond that, we just received, word that he received All-American with a couple of other different groups. And I think it's the first time and probably ever that Nacogdoches had a young man to get named to an All-American team. So we're real proud for the accomplishment he did. But really proud of Jace and what he did academically. This is what we're looking for in our young men is a quality education and them performing at the high level academically. And we're real proud of Jace. Congratulations.
And thank you, Coach, for holding that high level of expectations for him.
Next, the PCAT Bus Driver of the Year Award, and for that I will call on Mr. Stacy Lampkin.
Good evening, everyone. President Davis, board members, Dr. Hayes. It's a great honor to be able to stand up and recognize one of our bus drivers tonight with the School Bus Safety Driver of the Year Award. It goes to Mrs. Flores that went to work for the school district in 2008 as a bus driver. That says a lot for Ms. Flores that she has been here that long transporting our children, because you hear so many people say that I wouldn't have a bus driver's job. But evidently, Ms. Flores is one that believes different, that our children are our future, and she believes in helping us transport them and take care of them. I would just like to say that this award is given each and every year to a bus driver, and every year we've had the opportunity to have one that received this award. It's a very, very outstanding award through the PCAT Association, which is Property Casual Alliance of Texas, our insurance company. Ms. Flores? Ms. Flores is one of our drivers to transport our special needs student, and she's one of the drivers that when you ask her to do something, it's just like, okay, I'll do it, I'll take care of it. Smiles and going about her business. So Ms. Flores, Transportation School District, thank you for everything you do.
Ms. Flores, thank you for keeping the safety and well-being of our children paramount in the work that you do. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Mankins. Oh, you got more.
There's more.
Yes. All right. The next recognition we have is for our Safe Employee Award for the fall of 2015. This award goes to Mr. Franklin Pierce. Mr. Pierce is a driver within ISC Transportation. Mr. Pierce was one of the first drivers I hired right after I came to work for Nacogdoches. And I tell him all the time that I think he was a very good investment, because he took over a route that right after I got here, I was having issues with all the time. And with that route today, it's like it don't even exist anymore. I'm off the radar. Oh yeah, there you go, you're off the radar. But this is an award to let Mr. Pierce know we appreciate everything he does. He's one of those that if anything's happening, he sees something that's unsafe, he's going to let us know this is how we need to fix it. He just believes in trying to help take care of our children and help keep transportation safe and our buses well taken care of. Mr. Pierce, on behalf of the Safe Employee Award Program, let me get a call. I'd like to say thank you very much for being a part of our team.
He said I'd like to say just a word or two.
Well, sure.
I'd like to do that. I want you to know I appreciate this very much. It's an honor to receive this and have my name on it, but I want to tell you, we have a great group of bus drivers. We have a great group of safe bus drivers and aides that working with us. For those of you that have never ridden or driven a school bus, it can be a challenge when you have 50, 60, or 70 kids on that bus. So I just want to thank y'all, or you, Stacy, and whomever, for this award, and I want to accept it even though it's in my name, but I kind of want to accept it on behalf of all of our safe bus drivers and all of our aides, because they probably deserve this just as much as I
Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frank. This is the time the board has set aside to receive citizen comments. Individuals wishing to address the board should have completed the form located on the table by the entrance door and provided it to me prior to the meeting. Comments will be kept to a maximum of 3 minutes and should pertain to public education. Groups of 5 or more individuals having the same concern shall have a single spokesperson for the group. Individuals should refrain from yelling, using profanity, interrupting other speakers, or engaging in a disruptive conduct during the board meeting, including this public comment time. The board cannot respond to complaints in this open forum, but can inform you of the complaint procedures under board policy. And we have one speaker tonight, Ms. Sherry Hughes.
Hi. I have 4 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 of them are now in college, and they have 4-point averages. I have 2 children in the NISD system, and they are struggling. They came to me as a result of an ad I saw. It's called Fight Your Right. Fight for Your Right. Apparently, somebody has decided that writing is not important to teach children nowadays. They aren't taught to write cursively. They can't read it and they can't write it. And I think that's kind of setting them back. They're not prepared to go out into the real world without basic knowledge. Writing leads to reading, and they can't read. I have a 4th grader who is struggling with 2nd grade reading. She probably needs special help, but there doesn't seem to be anyone concerned about it except me. I'd like to see somebody jump on the bandwagon that I'm going to be on with this movement by the Bic company. They make the pens and pencils, and they think that they've started a movement now to promote reading and writing. I talked to a teacher in the SFA teachers, and he told me that he gets students come through his classes who are unable to spell. They are unable to read. They cannot write. That's not right. I think our kids are being, I don't know what they're teaching. If they aren't teaching the reading, writing, and arithmetic that we're all familiar with, what are they teaching? I've explored history. Kids don't seem to know anything about history. You ask them anything about their government, they can't tell you. What are the 3 basic branches of our government? They don't know, much less what they're responsible for. If they're not teaching history, civics, writing, what are they teaching? And how do I get somebody to take up the banner? To see that the kids are taught to write. That's what I'm most concerned about. Because if they can't write, they can't compete. And how can they compete with other nations? How can they compete with other states? If they aren't taught these basics, what are they learning? Is there anybody who can answer that? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am, we can, and I will give you a call tomorrow,
Okay.
or either I or Ms. Sandra Dowdy will, who is our academic assistant superintendent for academic services. But you will get a call tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Where do your grandchildren go to school?
One is in elementary school. She just changed school, so I'm not familiar. She's in 4th grade. And the other is a sophomore at Nacogdoches High.
You don't know where the 4th grader is?
From TJR to
Carpenter?
I'm not sure.
That's okay.
She just changed.
We'll get that to you, Mr. Green.
Holly, do you have the contact information? Okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Now we come to the information item report segment of tonight's meeting, and we'll begin with the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been a good night so far. We had an opportunity to recognize a number of students who, as well as employees, for their great work. We had an opportunity to hear a concern from a citizen, and we appreciate that. But I thank you, as always. I'm excited to bring you some information that is part of the things that go on every day in our district. And that are happening on our campuses as well as our school district over the past several weeks. First of all, the Glad to Be Here Award winner for the month of January is Mr. Ralph LaRue and the entire staff at Plant Services. The person making the nomination stated this: I would like to nominate the Plant Services staff for the Glad to Be Here Award on Friday, January 22nd, 2016. The Student Support Center office flooded. Plant Services were there on the scene just shortly after 7 a.m. on one of the coldest days of the year. May have been the only cold day of the year this year. They worked diligently to remove more than an inch of water from the building that was all over the floor. These gentlemen were wet up to their knees, and never one time did they complain. Once the water was removed, their job didn't finish. They worked quickly to remove the necessary items from the building and relocate them to temporary offices setting in a portable building on the Martin School campus. Mr. LaRue has a department full of dedicated gentlemen who are always willing to help in the toughest of circumstances. For all of their hard work, completed with a smile on their faces, I would like to nominate Mr. Ralph LaRue and his staff in Plant Services for the Nacogdoches ISD Glad to Be Here Award. So congratulations to Mr. LaRue. Please come forward to receive the Glad to Be Here Award.
Accept this on behalf of the staff. They did the work. There's no doubt about that.
Anyway, if you don't know about this award is awarded almost monthly. We skipped a month or two there in, I believe, November. But the award is a recognition, nominations from all over the school district. Anybody can nominate someone. And this past time we had a record number of nominations. We have a group that looks at those nominations and makes a selection. Mr. LaRue, we're proud of you because what this Glad to Be Here Award represents is people who face their jobs, the work here in Nacogdoches ISD with great attitudes and with great work, with efficiency and effectiveness of the work we expect from Nacogdoches ISD with excellence. So thank you very much.
The next information item is the Siemens Energy Audit, and for that I'll call on
I
Dr.
have a few more things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's not your time.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
Dr. Hayes is not finished.
We recently had 2 award-winning authors come to our schools, and our elementary librarians would be upset with me if I didn't take this time to announce that. In our continued efforts, as we talked about earlier, to stress the importance of reading, and according to our librarians, writing. Kelly Milner Halls visited with students at McMichael Middle School and Mike Moses in late January. Ms. Halls is an award-winning author of young teenage nonfiction books. So if you're interested in looking at her work, again, her name is Kelly Milner Halls, Halls. Secondly, we had Frank Camuso, Cammuso, spent time with several of our elementary schools. I believe he started with Brooks Quinn Jones on January 25th. And Mr. Camuso is am I saying that right? Okay, is an award-winning author and illustrator of children's books. So again, if you want to look him up, I would encourage you to do so. This is the good things that we have coming into Nacogdoches ISD on a daily basis that often get overlooked. Congratulations are in order to our Nacogdoches High School swim team. This is extremely impressive. The Dragons completed another successful trip to the regional swim meet. The team finished in 2nd place overall. Out of 57 swimmers, 51 set personal or lifetime bests. State qualifiers were Jesse Stovall in the 50 free, Luke Stanley, Gunnar Smith, Davis Pierce, and Dean Lamont in the 200 medley relay. And I believe that Gunnar was just announced today that he was going to also compete in the state meet in the breaststroke. So that's congratulations to him. This will be the boys', listen to this, 19th consecutive year to qualify for state, and the girls' 7th appearance. The meet will be held in Austin, I believe, tomorrow and Saturday. Go Dragons. Nacogdoches ISD would like to congratulate NHS cosmetology students. So we have athletics, we have academics, we have cosmetology students on their excellent work as they competed in Conroe recently. According to Ms. Holland, the teacher, the students won first, second, and third in aesthetics out of 46 contestants, and fifth and sixth in cosmetology. That includes haircuts and updos. Okay, so take that as an updo. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's where they put it out. Nacogdoches High School librarian Sonia Schultz is no rookie to public education, literature, or libraries. Ms. Schultz is a veteran educator in our school district, has been selected to serve on the standards and guidelines for Texas Revision Steering Committee for Libraries, and that's a very impressive thing. It's a statewide committee. Schultz will join other librarians and multimedia specialists in February later on this month with one goal in mind, that's to improve school library programs throughout the state. Nacogdoches ISD middle school students are preparing their 8th grade students for the transition to high school, and it's coming very soon. I believe the first meeting, the parent information meeting, is on February 22nd, so if you're tweeting this, I would encourage you to tweet that parent information meeting for Nacogdoches High School students on February 22nd at the NHS competition gym at 5:30. The parent information meeting is for all current 8th grade students from McMichael Middle School and Mike Moses Middle School. They will be attending NHS as 9th grade students the next year. After the parent information meeting, there will be an NHS Academic Expo available for the students and their parents in the NHS Main Commons at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a great time for middle school parents, 8th grade parents to come out, see what we have to offer at the high school, and take advantage of the many great programs that are out there at Nacogdoches High School. McMichael Middle School 9th grade registration is on February 23rd in the NHS Main Commons from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., so it's right after the academic fair. And then Mike Moses is February 25th in the NHS Commons from 5 to 7. Nacogdoches FFA chapter presented the 8th annual dinner and auction on Saturday, February 27th, or will present, unless I'm wrong on that. Is it will present? Okay, will present on the 27th in the NHS cafeteria. Dinner will be at 5 p.m., and the live auction will start at 5:45 p.m. It's a great time to go out and support FFA. I believe they do a great job. Is it stew this time, or fajitas? Okay, fajitas, there you go. Even better if those of you who like fajitas. Dinner will be at 5 p.m. The live auction, as I said, is 5:45. Dinner tickets are $15, and children 5 and under can come in and eat free. So what a great place to bring your kids to eat free. Dinner includes chicken, there it is, chicken and beef fajitas and all the fixings. And finally, McMichael Middle School will host the District 16 5A UIL academic competition on February 27th. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And they need over 100. February 27th? Okay. 27th, okay. Sorry. They need over 100 volunteers. So it's a big community thing that all districts, school districts from our district come down to compete in this. So you go from Lindale to White House to Tyler. So it's a big deal. There'll be a lot of students in town. Breakfast and lunch will be provided. If you're interested in contributing to the education of hundreds of students in our area, then contact Amanda Bankston. Ms. Bankston is at McMichael Middle School, and you can reach her via email at abankston@nacisd.org. Or you can just look it up on their website and find that. Or you can call the campus and ask to speak with Ms. Bankston. Please visit our district website under important announcements on the home page to sign up. It's a very big thing. We don't get to do this very often because we're kind of in the southeast portion of our district, of our academic district, but we're getting an opportunity to do this time. Let's make it the best that we can make it for Nacogdoches ISD and for this whole entire district. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Dr. Hayes, can you spell Miss Bankston's last name?
I will, yes, sir. It's BANKSTON.
Thank you.
Thank you, President.
All right, Dr. Knox, now would you please give us the Siemens Energy Audit?
Yes, President Davis, Dr. Hayes, Board of Trustees, I'm going to invite Chad Nobles with Siemens to come to the podium. If you remember last year, we engaged Siemens to conduct a performance contract audit for us. They've completed that, and Mr. Nobles will present the findings to you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Knox. Good evening, President Davis, board members, Dr. Hayes, good to see you guys again. I'm going to try to give a high-level overview. I guess this works now, is that correct? Okay. So I'll try to give a high-level kind of quick overview for you guys. If you want all the details, believe me, we've got them, and we've been sharing them with staff. But I want to kind of quickly go through some things. So I want to talk about some of the good things you guys are doing in the district that we saw. One of the good things is, and again, it goes back to Mr. LaRue and Mr. Hudson's department, they've been doing a good job of scheduling equipment on and off, kind of monitoring temps, and really getting the word out about how to do energy conservation. So you do a good job we found, of cutting things on and off, scheduling equipment and scheduling classrooms and stuff like that. So you're doing a great job there. There are obviously lots of needs in every school district, and so we're going to talk about a little bit of those tonight. A couple of things that we saw was that in the school district throughout, you've got a mixture of lighting that needs to be replaced. You've got some energy management control system work that needs to be done. And then the big thing that we're going to focus on a little bit tonight is the HVAC, and we'll talk about each one of these separately. And then there is a small opportunity to do some water conservation. Not a lot. You don't do a lot of irrigation, and obviously your schools have toilets, faucets, and sinks, but not a big project, but there is some opportunity there from a water conservation standpoint. From a lighting standpoint, we saw a mixed bag. We really saw some older generation T12s, which definitely need to be replaced as soon as possible. There are some T8 first generation, what we call T8s. They were more 32 watt. Those lamps and ballasts now have the ability to go down to 25 watt, so we can get some savings associated with doing some lamp replacements there. Or you have the opportunity to retrofit some of those to LED. There are several options from an incandescent standpoint that you have scattered throughout your schools. Those obviously need to be replaced with either some type of compact fluorescent or LED fixture and lamp. And then there are occasions, and in most of your gymnasiums, where there is ability to retrofit those. You know, we have the old, what I call, everybody knows them as gym lights, where you have the ability, you got to turn them on and let them warm up. We can replace those with new technology now that can cycle on and off instantly, which allows your students, you know, when a lot of times those gyms aren't being used, but the lights are on all the time because you got to leave them on to warm up when somebody comes in there. Well, there's new technology that you allows to come on and off. And I don't know if you've been over to SFA. We did quite a bit of work over there in some of their gymnasiums, and you can see some really nice lighting that's out there at SFA's campus, where we did quite a bit of lighting work as well. So from a lighting standpoint, I'll give you just a quick overview. Is that simply there is opportunity on the lighting side. Is it a slam dunk? No. In some schools it has a quick payback. In other schools it's something that's more of a maintenance issue that needs to take place, and a group relamp needs to take place as part of those schools. From a water conservation standpoint, I mentioned that there are some opportunities to retrofit some older devices that are high flow fixtures. As you know, the code these days pretty much requires low flow devices. So the idea would be to retrofit faucets, sinks, put on aeration if you want to restrict some of the flows there. It's all depending on what staff and students and teachers want, but there is an opportunity there. There's also an opportunity to save, in one instance, some sewer charges that the city is actually charging you for water that's not necessarily going down to the drain to sewer. In this case, it's a cooling tower at the high school that you could obviously sub-meter and then get sewer credits from the city from actually not using that water and not having to put it to drain. So that's usually a very quick payback that we see sometimes that happens. So from a water standpoint, not a big opportunity, not a big project, but obviously some little stuff that needs to take care of. From a control standpoint, and I know you guys have had some activity on this, and I would tell you this is definitely a need that needs to take place. We found that you don't have a common platform throughout your school, through all your schools, which definitely is something we definitely highly recommend. We saw some systems that are way past their life. Some schools don't even have control systems in. The idea is there is to go ahead and get controls on those so that you can truly schedule those without having manual operation. You have a lot better ability to do campus-wide set points. You can do some night setbacks where you actually raise the temperature instead of setting stuff off. This becomes a little bit more efficient in certain opportunities. But the idea is to go ahead and replace those that are older generation, get everything upgraded to a new platform, and then of course for those that don't, put in a control system that would actually work and tie to the current Allerton system. We're perfectly fine with that system. We think it's a good one, and you can continue moving forward with that platform. The other thing is there is some control strategies. If you do have the controls in place, you can do a thing called demand control ventilation. A lot of the American Society of Heating and Refrigeration came out with some high requirements for air changes in the classroom. And in this case, you would be dumping in a whole bunch of outside air that could be, obviously in East Texas, very humid and hot. So the idea is you can put a sensor in the classroom, you can regulate the outside air based on the need of the outside air in the actual classroom. And so that's called demand control ventilation. You're able to pick up some savings by doing that. But you got to have the controls in order to do that with your air conditioning system. So overall, I think there is an opportunity here. Is it a great payback? No, but it is an operational savings that can be huge to your staff and helps them kind of manage the systems a lot better and get a lot more comfort for your students. The big one that I want to talk about is HVAC, and I've got several slides here to go through on this. We found shockingly an extreme amount of units that are past their life expectancy. I was shocked when I saw that you had units that were 28, 27 years old. So there's a significant amount of HVAC work that needs to take place. I'm going to go to a couple slides which I think will break this down a little bit further for you. On this slide, out of the 400 and something rooftop unit split systems that you have throughout the campus, you have 128 units right now. 28% of your air conditioning system is past its useful life. It is, ASHRAE says that typically these type of unitary equipment will last 15 years. There are units literally 28, 27, 25, and there's some substantial amounts. So you got 128 of them that are in need of replacement many years ago. You also have about, and this is a big number, you have about 54% that are going to be needed to replace in the next year to 2 to 3 years that are basically between 11 and 14 years old. So that's a significant amount, up to almost 70%, 80% almost of units are getting very close, if not already past their useful life when it comes to air conditioning systems. As we break those 128 that, in our opinion, are well past needing to be replaced, these are the schools that they break down in. So you can see the majority of those are found at Mike Moses, but you also have a pretty substantial at some of your elementary schools as well. And so the idea is that these things definitely need to be replaced immediately. I commend your staff, obviously, for keeping these things running. I don't know how they do it. They must be spending money and Band-Aids all over the place for this HVAC units, but it is impressive to see that you have that age of equipment still running out there. So your staff is definitely doing a good job keeping those things running. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to HVAC in the school district. The other units that I mentioned, the 249, here's kind of how they break down. About 100 of those units are at McMichael. And then, of course, you've got 55 units at the high school and another 68 at Brooks Quinns Jones. So they're kind of tailored at some schools that are specific and kind of narrowed down. But there are a huge need, and I would highly recommend that if you haven't already budgeted for this, that you definitely be thinking about and trying to put back money to do these replacements, because they are in need in the very, very near future if you don't consider moving forward with a replacement in the next year or as part of this project. The last slide I have here is just kind of a list that would kind of break down some of the recommendations that we have. As you can see, there's pretty much a little bit of lighting or some lighting opportunity in all schools to be consistent and thorough throughout each campus. We've kind of listed up there some of the HVAC that we would recommend. Those are at least the 128 units that need to be replaced now. And then, of course, putting controls. It's very important when you do HVAC units that in order to optimize that system, you really want to look at the control system associated with it. And so if you're doing control systems now, you need to be doing the HVAC unit, especially if it's past its life expectancy, so that you can get the optimum efficiency and you don't ruin the life. Because a lot of times controls will help extend the life of those equipment and make sure that it's operating correctly. So with that, I'll end and open it for questions, or I don't know if that's just an informational time tonight, but I wanted to at least give you a high-level overview. And like I said, we've been working with your staff. I do want to appreciate staff for all your coordination with this. And again, we want to kind of know what next steps would be and kind of go from there.
Does anybody have a question? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Next report is the annual report on violent or criminal incidences for 2014-2015. For that, I'll call on Shante Davis.
Good evening, President Davis, Board of Trustees, Dr. Hayes. Thank you for the opportunity to present the annual report on violent or criminal incidents for the year 2014-2015. Texas Education Code Chapter 39 requires each district's Board of Trustees to publish an annual report that includes information for these 4 areas. The Academic Performance Report, or TAPER, which was presented on December 17, 2015 at a special hearing. Campus Performance Objectives, which were presented and approved at the regular January 21, 2016 board meeting. A report on violent or criminal incidents at our schools for the previous school year, and reports of student enrollment and academic performance provided for our district by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. There are 7 violent criminal acts which are reported annually through PEAMS. This slide lists those action reason codes and shows the number of each type of incident for the last 4 school years. It is important to note that under the No Child Left Behind Act, that any student who becomes a victim of one of these incidents or the parent of that victim may request a transfer to another school within the district, including a public charter school. This option is noted in the student handbook and outlined in board policy. Specifically by campus, we had 1 incident at the elementary level that was Action Reason Code 28, assault against someone other than a school district employee or a volunteer. And at the secondary level, there were 6 incidents at Mike Moses Middle School, 3 at McMichael Middle School, and 2 at Nacogdoches High School. These were all also Action Reason Code 28. Policies and procedures related to student safety are included in the district student handbook, specifically in the Student Code of Conduct. The Code of Conduct and the applicable board policies are available for viewing on the district's website. Finally, during 2014-2015, 1 student was expelled for bringing a firearm to school. This data was provided by the Nacogdoches ISD Chief of Police, Officer Doug Plow, and was submitted to the Texas Education Agency in the Gun-Free Schools Report, which is a requirement for the district to receive its title program federal funding. A printed copy of this report will be published and made available at the District Support Center and on each campus. If there are any questions, I'll field those at this time.
Are the assaults mainly student on student?
On 28, that is student on student. There is a separate action reason code for assault on an employee or a volunteer.
Which number is that?
It's a 28 if it's on another student, and I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the list to give you that code. But all of the ones that are considered action reason codes that are violent or criminal, those are listed on that slide.
Has anyone compared these statistics with other schools in our district to see where we stand?
No, sir, not that I know of, but that could be done.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
The next report, Ms. Dowdy, we're not going to give tonight because it was requested by Ms. Rushing and she's not here. So if we can postpone that till next month, I apologize. I'm sure that that's inconvenient for you, but we appreciate you preparing it. We'll look forward to it next month. The initial assessment of utility savings for combining satellite offices, and for that I'll call on Mr. LaRue.
evening, President Davis, board members, Dr. Hayes. Oh, this is not Reggie's. All right.
You wanna-
The initial savings report is fairly easy for me to come up with as far as just going out looking at square footage in the buildings. It's right around $12,000 annually. That would include student support services, parent resource center, and deaf education. The harder question that I would certainly need guidance on would be office configuration, conference room usage, where are we going to put people and how are we going to do that, how are we going to configure things. With the recent flood at the student service building, that opened up a chunk of square footage that we need to decide upon, do we renovate that, don't renovate that, what do we do with that? And then also the space that was generated at the Martin Center when we moved the kids out to the technical training center. But the initial savings is right at $12,000 a year.
That's page 58 in your.
But that doesn't include possible savings, because all three of these buildings were on a list of repair.
Yes, there's other, obviously we're not, if we were to dispose of the property, we would not be putting any other monies into those.
Any other questions, Mr. Lynn? Thank you, Mr. Lynn.
Would we say that shutting them down, but then let's say we moved them to the Martin Center at some point in time, converting those rooms are going to cost us something.
Right, that's where I would need guidance on configuration so that I could develop relocation cost and associated renovation cost with that relocation. Obviously we can't move them into just a bare classroom, and how we configure those classrooms. Could they share conference space? How many conference rooms do we need? Those are all more on the educational side of operations than I am.
And the administration and the facilities committee will continue to work together to come up with a tentative plan to discuss with the whole board.
Thank you, Mr. Rourke.
Thank you.
And next, the assessment of utility savings by adding the new control systems. And I'll call on Mr. Reggie Hudson.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, and Dr. Hayes. At the last meeting, if you remember, you asked me to look into the savings that we might estimate when we change to the new system. And so I'll put some information together for you tonight to do that. We start off with the Martin Building and Central Kitchen, and the reason we put those together are that the meters for the electricity are put together in one meter, so it's difficult to separate those two. But to give you some kind of an idea, the savings on adjustments with those particular units, the old units, the Solidyne units, we are not able to control each room in those situations. So the teacher in that room can change the temperature any way that they want to. And where that is critical is that you have to understand that 1 degree of temperature change costs 5%. So when you look at that over a wide area or a long time, that can be a meaningful amount of money in savings. We'll look at it somewhere around $4,100 per year there with enhanced controls of that building. Another thing that we're going to look at is what we might call cost of failure. And that is what would happen if the system we have now might fail. And the reason we're talking about that failing is because the computer that operates that system is 24 years old. Think about it now, a computer that's 24 years old. It hasn't died yet. It's so old that the only way you can access it is with a dial-up modem. If some of you might remember what that was. Chad talked about equipment being out of date at 15. Just think about a computer that's 24. And so what we've looked at is if this thing fails, Then by the time we figure out what we need, we get some people in here to design it, we get some people bidding on it, and we get it all done and all that stuff, we're going to be looking at some, on this particular thing, about $16,000, because that thing, the only way we're going to get to work is to run it full-time, 24/7. We're going to lose control of it. So that's where the savings might come in that. And the administration building we're in now, the savings and controls is kind of the same situation, about $1,500 a year. Cost of, failure on this one is about $5,000 for estimate time that we would be before we could get it fixed. We'd ask about the tech center. We actually don't have enough data to make some reliable computations on that. So we're going to have to kind of look at that. Total failure and the savings cost stuff like that, we looked at about $26,800 per year on that. Any questions on that? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. And next we move on to the consent agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, all items will be acted on with one motion. If there's a board member who wishes to discuss an item on the consent agenda separately, please indicate the agenda letter and it will be set aside for further discussion. I will say that the administration is pulling letter E tonight, so that one will not be discussed tonight.
Which one is that?
E, revision of the 2015-16 school calendar.
Okay.
I'm going to pull the budget amendments, B1. Anyone else?
You pulling budget amendments?
Yes. Okay, since I hear none others, can I get a motion on the remainder of the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the consent agenda excluding B1 and E.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Green, second by Reverend Urban. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, Board. On the budget amendments,
What page is that on?
trying to get to it. It's Section D, which is on page 181. And this was a big amendment, so I asked Ms. Barber if she'd come up and tell us about it.
Okay, this amendment is increasing our revenue due to a new estimate based on the WADA that we are, that have come in this year, and the WADA is our weighted average, weighted, my goodness. Weighted average daily attendance. So although our ADA has not changed significantly from what we adopted, our at-risk students are higher, so that brings in more money. So I am increasing our revenue, and with that revenue, I wish to increase several things. The first item is salary and benefits for summer school. Also, benefits for workers' compensation and Social Security, life insurance, those types of things. One of the other ones is increase in legal expenditures budget. Is there any, I'm sorry, do you want me to go through each one of them?
No,
Okay, is there one in particular you have?
You've explained to me. I just wanted you to go through why we got the large increase.
Okay. The increase is due to the WADA that are at-risk students.
Does anybody else have any questions concerning this? There was one that you and I spoke about, which was the last one, increased budget for salaries and benefits for year and contingencies and vacation payouts.
Yes, and the wording of vacation is a word I should not have used. It should be our
non-scheduled duty days.
Our non-duty days, that's correct. Our full-time employees work 226 days a year. That's what their contract is. When it actually comes out to be more like 236 days that we work. And so that means we accumulate 10 days that we can take off over the next year. And if those days aren't taken by the end of the year, we pay that out. So it is not actually vacation days, but paying for days that were worked but not compensated for.
Anybody else have any questions?
This is just increasing the budget because of the extra revenue? And you've
Yes, it
divided
is.
it up into the different categories?
Yes.
But it's not coming to us, asking us to spend it in those categories at this point? Or is that what it's doing for all those other categories?
Some of it, it's, yes, to spend it in all different categories. Some of it will not be spent, it's just there as a placeholder.
Is there since this was unexpected money that's coming in and considering all of our facilities needs, is there some immediate reason to have to decide where to spend it right now without weighing and comparing some of our facilities needs? Or does it have to be spent in these categories?
These areas I feel are important right now. Some of it, yes, they are needs. More of the salary type things are more of placeholders. Some items are definitely needed, but there are buffers there. I did not bring forward all the revenue I think that we will be getting with this increase in WADA. And that is something we can consider where we, when it comes in and we are more sure or certain that this increase in revenue would come in, that we can allocate it to.
Mr. Smith, I think a couple of them are going into what function 51, which is.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Who played a part in deciding how we would allocate the funds? When you said I, did you do it yourself, or were you?
Well, no, I get input. Throughout the year, we'll have things come up, and for instance, the mower. We purchased a mower without it actually being in the budget, but knowing that by the end of the year, because we budget conservatively, that revenues will be, we will know and realize revenues at the end of the year. So in meetings, I hear we need summer school, we need budgets for summer school, we need more money in facilities. So no, it is not me determining, but the entire district in meetings.
Okay. Any other questions? With that, can I get a motion? Or since I pulled it, I'll make a motion that we approve the budget amendments. Can I get a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Green. All in favor? No? Let's, all in favor? Mr. Howarth, Mr. Green, myself, those opposed? Vernon Irvin and Mr. Smith. Thank you, Board. And next is action agenda. Get to my spot. The first thing is consideration board action, letter of support for the 21st Century Grant, and for that I'll call Ms. Dow.
Good evening, President Davis, board members, and Dr. Hayes. The 21st Century Grant is one that I'm well versed in. I received this grant at the prior district that I worked in. I would like to see if we could write it for the district. We have an outside grant writer that I work with. She's won 14 straight in a row, so we're hoping, got our fingers crossed for this one. It's a multi-million-dollar grant that would provide, it's dedicated to after-school, Saturday, and summer academic enrichment and family events. It is a 5-year grant, and it's one that if we get a letter of support from you, we win 10 extra points for the grant, and it's very highly competitive, so every point counts. So it's plain and simple. It's a grant for after-school, summer, and Saturday enrichment programs.
I've read it. Well, I guess we start with, does anybody have a motion? Yeah, I know.
If we don't write the letter of support, we can still write the grant without the letter of support.
I understand.
Yeah, so if you would want me to do that.
Well,
I'll make a motion that we write the letter of support for the grant.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Get a second on that?
The recommendation on board book is approve the signing of the letter. He said write the letter, which,
It's the approval of the signing.
Approval of the signing.
so we need to.
Let me find, what page is it?
Page
Somebody else.
192.
Well, then you say it, since you got it right up there, you say it. Make it up.
I make a motion that the board approve signing the letter of support for the 21st Century Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. And
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Green. Now I'll bring up my concern. We didn't author the letter. Is there a way we can get that respectfully author and just say respectfully submit?
Sure, we can do that.
The rest of it I agree with.
And I want to make a comment here, to say that this grant has to be submitted on March 29th. And precaution, if we change codings on any campus, it's a federal grant. We can't write a grant for a campus that's currently coded one way. If they change codings next year or any time after that, then we wouldn't receive the grant because it's for writing for a campus that doesn't exist under this period of time. Okay?
Okay. Any questions?
Would you define change coding, please?
If we reconfigure and you changed Fredonia, I'm just giving an example, I don't know that we're doing that, but you changed Fredonia from an elementary to an intermediate and you changed the coding and changed the name, that campus doesn't exist while we're writing this grant, so we wouldn't be awarded that for that campus.
Thank you.
Okay.
How lucrative is this grant?
When we wrote it at my prior district, we won $6 million. It's over 5 years. So I think they've raised the amount this year, and so we could look at more than that. It funds a director at the district level. It requires a director, because it's huge, to oversee it. It funds a person to oversee the grant on each campus, and then plus about 1,000, did we say, Shantae, 1,000? $1,000 per student that attends.
That's significant.
Yeah, it's significant.
Okay. We have a-
But you're saying if we approve this,
Right.
if we decide to reconfigure, we could lose this grant too?
Yes, because of the coding, and I just need to make that known up front.
The campus loses it or the district loses it?
The campuses for sure would lose it, and I
Okay.
can check to see if the district would lose the entire grant too.
No, that
Okay.
hasn't been decided.
Is each campus on its own merit? or-
On site, it has its own site coordinator, its own site budget, the whole thing.
So is this a grant that each individual school would write?
No, we write it as a total district.
So it would be a district grant.
It's a district grant, but it's funding each campus except for the high school. We'll include all the elementaries as well as the 2 middle schools.
And this funds after-school work?
After school, Saturdays, and summer
And summer.
events. It'll take care of our tutorials and enrichment activities that we partner with different companies or individuals in the community to come in and teach lessons like ballet, for example, to enrich. That's the enrichment component, but we also have the tutorials for academics. Yeah. It's a very good grant if we win that. But you have to be careful.
When would it be awarded? What date?
When submitted March the 29th, awarded, did we find out in July, Shantae? Was it June or July? It's June or July. I can get that date for you. And then it has to be implemented by September of this year, current year.
And given the information and knowledge about the coding possibilities, is it still a recommendation of the administration to go forward?
I would hate to pass up a chance to win this kind of money.
Agreed.
That's a yes.
Yes, it is. It's a yes.
Holly, will we be able to fix this letter so we can sign
Yeah.
it tonight? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dowd. B is being pulled by the administration. C, consideration board action of color scheme of Regay Elementary. And for that, I'll call on Mr. Barton.
President Davis, Dr. Hayes, board members, we have bringing you tonight the color scheme that we've determined for Regay Elementary. Actually, it was determined by a group of teachers there that Ms. Wells put together in order to, with our architect, in order to have a good color scheme picked out for the new addition there. I have a board. I wanted to be able to get you smaller copies, but we have the board. It's been in my office for a while, and I've shared it with our facility group. It's your basic, just your bright elementary colors, and there's 4 patterns there. It's pretty basic. They were given the option of a lot of different things, and this is what our group at Regay had wanted, and so I'll bring forward tonight for y'all's approval to move forward with this color, these colors and scheme at Regay Elementary Edition.
Okay. We have a recommendation for administration. Can I get a motion?
Can you show the,
Yeah, show.
show the folks out there?
And real quickly, explain what the colors are, where they're going.
These are colors, these are 4 patterns. I'm sorry, here in the forwards, this is each one will be, this is the hallway, and it'll be all the primary colors going down the halls and the stalls for restrooms. These different areas in our computer lab for design, and as far as stations for computers, things like that. And then different areas in brick along the walls will be there also.
Can you tell me what the new wing that's being built at Regay, what's its primary age function? Was it going to be upper elementary, primary?
That is going to be up to Ms. Wells. It's going to be, it will not be pre-K. It's going to, our building will continue with kindergarten up. The room itself will be the same size regardless, and it's capable for kindergarten or pre-K, actually, all the way up to 5th grade. I know that Ms. Wells is going to want to group those students together, and I don't know if she's going to want to go older kids out there or younger kids out there and then bring it up the hall, so that's still to be determined. We'll know a lot more about that before we order our furniture, which we already began looking at, and equip it with that. But I cannot tell you for certain what age group will be in every room at this time.
So that one wing's going to be pretty colorful, and the rest of the building's going to be kind of drab.
Well, teachers have a way of dressing things up, so we hope they continue to do
Not
that.
like that.
All right, can I get a motion to accept the color scheme?
I move to approve.
And got a motion from Mr. Howarth. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Reverend Irvin, any other questions, comments? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you, board. Thank you, Mr. Burton. All right, next is the consideration board action revising the guaranteed maximum price at the Regay Elementary School Edition. For that, again, I'll call on Mr. Burton.
Thank you, President Davis, Dr. Hayes, board members. I don't have a graph or anything for this, but I would like to tell y'all that we have talked about at the January meeting. We had several roofs that were in dire need of repair or replacing. Regay, Fredonia, and Nettie all being on that list. We've gone back, just a little back information. We had gone early on when we were doing the wing there, knowing that that roof was in disarray and disrepair, and had an alternate to our bid for the addition to re-roof the existing school, about 51,000 square feet of roof. We know it needed it. We did get a price involved in that, but as we looked at our budget, we couldn't do it at that time. What the administration is bringing tonight is to go ahead and approve to increase the guaranteed maximum price on the Regay project. What that allows us to do is we've already had the design of the roof, and it's been out to bid with 5 folks have actually put in for the project to begin with, and it will allow us to move forward and keep Kingham there and continue on, and they would be overseeing the actual implementation of the roof job. It comes out to $462,618, and we are asking that we increase the guaranteed maximum price at Regay to $2,972,014.
Okay, we have a recommendation from administration. Can I get a motion?
I move the board approve the guaranteed maximum price of $2,972,014 for the construction of the Regay Elementary School addition.
All right, have a motion. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Green. Any questions of Mr. Burton?
Which roofing company got awarded the bid?
I believe it's Renault Roofing is the sub that will be doing that project out of Garrison.
And was Kingham involved in the selection or the potential selection of the roofing company?
No, sir. They, each group, when Mr. Goodman Laster Strong, Mark Strong actually put out the bids for the project to begin with, so he took all the subcontracts and the general contractors.
I just heard you say something about Kingham still being there to oversee things, and so I was wondering about their...
Yes, it is a sub that they will use as part of the project, but they are our general contractor there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
They will be able to get this completed over the summer.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. This will help
So
expedite the
everything at
process.
Regay will be ready to roll in September.
Yes, sir.
In August.
Late July.
Gray, I assume this is a foregone conclusion, but the difference from where we are to $2,972,000, that is the $462,000
Yes, sir.
exactly?
Yes, sir. Should be exact.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And where is the money coming from? Is it already set aside?
This is part of the money that we designated. We had several repairs that we're going to do, and y'all designated in December, I believe, $5 million for repairs. This is one of the roofs that we wanted to repair, actually one of the three that we brought back in January for us to begin bidding on. Then we went ahead and instead of having sent it out for bid, since it had already been bid, we just came in now, and that money will come from the $5 million that y'all designated for facility improvements.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, Board. Next, is consideration board action on the selection criteria for the delinquent ad valorem tax collection services. For that, I'll call on Dr. Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board, Mr. Haglund, would you please come forward, have a seat on the front here, because I know that you and I worked on this together, as well as Mr. Burton, so I want you to be available for any questions that may come up.
Excuse me, Dr. Hayes. There's a purple tab in your blue folder, if you'll pull that.
Thank you. If you would, please refer to the administration's recommendation regarding the delinquent tax attorney services, which is on page 219 of your board book. Again, the recommendation is on page 219 of your board book, but the supporting document, as Mr. Davis indicated, is a replacement, which is the purple tab in your blue folder. The criteria listed on page 220, as I said, has been replaced with the information in that purple tab blue folder. It was also sent via email yesterday morning, sometime around 9 or so. After consulting with Mr. Haglund and evaluating what's best for, or what we feel is best for the taxpayers of Nacogdoches, it seemed that the criteria in your blue folders is the best criteria that we could develop. We could not, as those who hold kind of a fiduciary responsibility, present you with a selection criteria that didn't focus somewhat on and have some weighted points on experience in the collection of delinquent taxes and or the litigating of complex delinquent tax issues. At this time, I'll present the criteria and weighting that we're recommending. You'll find attached to the page with the weighted information qualifications for submission that we're also recommending be included in the call for qualifications. I'll read those as well. So on the first page, as you can see, qualifications and criteria which will be submitted and generally used to evaluate the response to the RFQ. 1, a minimum of 5 years experience collecting delinquent property taxes in Texas. 2, full disclosure of tax collection software and capabilities. 3, certification that the system employment by the responder is entirely compatible with the software employed by the CAD, Nacogdoches County Appraisal District, professional liability insurance coverage in the minimum amount of $1 million, naming the Nacogdoches ISD as an additional insured with an underwriter licensed to write such coverage in Texas, and which which policy terms are acceptable to our district. Number 5, submission of references, all public entities, and so on and so forth that they've introduced, that they've prospered for, has performed tax collections over the last 5 years, so whichever ones they've done that for, we take those references, whether they are written on their reference form or not. A history in brief of your organization or the organization or firm, including years of service, professional affiliation in the ad valorem tax collection field, and awards and recognitions. The identification of all principals in the firm and those other individuals who would be working on the delinquent tax collection of the school district if selected. Number 8, a full disclosure of all subcontractors, partners, joint ventures, or others with whom the firm would be associated in the performance of the services of duties for our district. Number 9, reputation in the field for personal and professional integrity, competence and knowledge of federal, state, and local regulations, policies, and procedures applicable to delinquent tax collection. And number 10, submission of the delinquent tax collection contract with the Prosper would submit to the school district if selected to do the services. The weighting on the second page, the criteria is listed there. There are 9 criteria, and each one has weight out to the right-hand side. Certainly that the discussion, you all can discuss this as we move forward this evening. But number 1, proven expertise and experience in the field of ad valorem tax collection as evidenced by responses to the district for proposals would be 15 points. Evaluation of the description of the spectrum of services to the district in connection with delinquent tax collection. The responder should include sample letters, forms, charts, graphs, and other material to be employed in the delinquent tax collection process. 5, clarity of the response to the request for proposal and any other supporting data. 5, evidence of sufficient and compatible data processing services. 5, number 5, evidence of experienced, qualified professional staff and resources located in Nacogdoches County with appropriate credentials, experience described, and sufficient support to collect delinquent taxes in an efficient manner. 15. Number 6, the proposed collection fee to be charged to the taxpayer, and as we say there, the lower the fee, the greater the score to be awarded. Number 7, evidence of capability to effectively and efficiently collect delinquent ad valorem taxes and ability to meet the needs of our district. Number 8, percentage of the firm's revenue derived from delinquent tax collection services in each of the last 5 years. That's 10 points. And number 9, demonstrated experience and ability to handle complex tax litigations and adversarial actions in bankruptcy proceedings in Texas and in out-of-state forums. Thank you for your time. We're recommending that you consider and possibly take action on the administration's recommendations that includes the criteria and the weighted scoring document. Thank you, Mr. President, and with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. Comes as a recommendation. Can I get a motion on this?
Mr. President, I think I had requested, because this came in late yesterday, and as I understand it from communications from Dr. Hayes, he has had recent conversations with our council about some of these changes that have just come in. So I'm recommending that we take this out of order and we'd be able to discuss and ask some questions of our legal counsel in the executive session.
And then come back out?
And take it back up afterwards.
Okay. If no objection, that'll work. Okay. Tonight we were honored to have the Delta Sigma Theta sorority in-house, and it's my understanding that you're here as a service project and need a picture with us, and we're excited about taking a picture with you. So if you'll start your way up here as we close out this portion of the meeting, and just come up here to the front. Thank you. The board will now conduct executive closed session to discuss the items posted on our agenda pursuant to the following provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act and as allowed by the Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. No voting will take place in the closed meeting, and any action the board wishes to take as a result of this discussion in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in open session. It is now 7:42. Thank you.